That to me is like the biggest kicker. I went through the process of just hiring a VA through another firm, and there was no onboarding, no nothing. It was, hey, we have 2 people for you. You look at their resumes, you have an interview. I had to do all the legwork and then roll with the punches. And like,
welcome to Movified Wednesdays. Let's go. Welcome to Movified Wednesdays.
welcome back to Movified. I'm your host, Mark Hirschi, owner of Salmons and LS Movie and Stores located in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. It is Movified Wednesdays. And of course, I got my co-host, Mr. Stephen Raid. He is all the way out in Memphis, Tennessee. Well, all the way, when I say all the way, it's when I'm thinking, Vancouver to Memphis. It's a bit of a trek. He's the owner of ReadyRolls.com, and that is your best place and your only resource to getting professional VAs, where they supply the best onboarding setup. But hey, listen, like I always say, make sure you're always checking out the others that are out there, especially if you have other VAs and opportunities. We want to make sure that you find what suits you the best. But he's also the owner of Big League Movers, and he is also the owner of On Deck Deliveries. So he's got a full plate, Mr. Reed. Full plate.
Well, I'll just share that. I'm on the show. I'm a host, so you shouldn't go to any other VA services.
Well, just
real firmly. But having said that, that's not Mark's not getting paid for his intro this episode. I got a nice script that he goes in, and he's not getting the extra money that I paid for the intro. But no, as a joke, I mean, I'm dealing with customers all the time going through other VA services, so check out our VA episode.
Totally.
You will be a Ready Roll client at some point, odds are, if you choose a different route. So please check out that VA episode.
It's a humble brag if I ever heard one.
Oh, absolutely. I'm
100%.
confident in what we do.
That's facts.
And as a client, I love my VAs. They work super hard, and I wouldn't be able to achieve what I do achieve on a daily basis if I didn't have the proper onboarding set up with Ready Rolls. Like that to
And
me,
that's the
that
key.
to me is like the biggest kicker. I went through the process of just hiring a VA through another firm, and there was no onboarding, no nothing. It was, hey, we have 2 people for you. You look at their resumes, you have an interview. I had to do all the legwork and then roll with the punches. And like my wife says, I'm a bad hire when I have to hire people. So if I can have that ready pre-done for me and the onboarding done for me, man, what a life changer. It's a huge savings. But we got to also returning.
And I'll add one more thing. I want to shout out to the VA team in the background that are making Movified happening. So
Yes.
Shout out to Daryl and Marcus and the team.
And Ann and Chetty. Oh yeah, those girls worked vigorously through the night, and I appreciate it.
Speaking of making Movified work in the background, I'll let you intro.
Yeah, well, we got our returning guest, Prabh, here with You Move Me. What's up, Prabh?
Happy to be here. Thanks.
Prabh, for those that are listening and haven't checked out this episode,
he paid more on this intro. Before we do it, Prabh paid Mark more on the intro than he charges me. So let's expect a banger here.
Yeah, he even promised to make sure that he had better video quality too. So we got that real shiny Prabh look. On the
Greg and that beard shining.
That's right. It's real shiny.
The lighting at SFO Airport is real good where I'm sitting.
And that's a pro. You're using a pro, that's for sure. You're not using a normal iPhone.
I've already couriered Prabh one of those, just for men hairs that he can just like color brush his beard in. So when he comes back home to his wife, she's gonna be like, "Wow, you look at least 2 weeks younger."
What happened?
I actually shaved this morning, so I'm surprised that it's already gone from black to gray instantly.
Instantly. That's what I mean. It's going to last you like 2 weeks. You know what? But, today's episode is really to chat about what's going on with Movified Nation. We have a mastermind program that's been playing in the background for going on, 8 months now, Prabh?
Month 8 of Mastermind 1, and we're about to launch Mastermind 2 this month, so very excited.
Yeah, and we already are putting together Mastermind 3. It's an exciting time for, getting like-minded individuals in this industry together to share insights that are topic-led, controlled, moderated, so that, it's not like, hey, we're just sitting around a round table shooting the shit. We want to get right down the nitty-gritty of what's going on, and it's very focused on what goals we need to achieve, like the CEOs that we are and business leaders in our businesses. And that can get discussed, and so we can learn from one another and grow. But
I think like on that side too, like Prab, Mark, and I have a passion, and I think it's kind of clear to our listeners. Scaling is hard and moving. It is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and I'm proud of it. And that's why I talk about it all the time, right? It is an obstacle that we all battle. As I say, and Mark hears all the time, if you're not about to go bankrupt, you're not growing at times. We don't talk about that often. And I'm excited to get with these guys. They've been passionately talking in the background about a way to really, really help moving companies scale and have a price that's not crazy, helping those moving companies scale, because we have some great sponsors that work with us in the industry. So we're able to offer a lower price structure. But I wanted to share, like, scaling's hard. That's the passion behind it. I felt like Mark's in the middle of the day, right? Just kind of breeze through that. But that is a passion, is why we're doing this in the background. This shit is hard. And so luckily 3 of us have figured it out, and we answer questions every day. So how can we get more together on that side? Sorry, Mark, I'm passionate about that.
Me
right?
too.
So I wanted to step in.
Me too. Prab, I kind of want you to take the lead on this one and, discuss a little bit of what that looks like. To how we kind of started with the topics, what makes those topics work, and how they are impactful for each month.
And 1, 2, I'll add, this is me. I didn't take my medicine today, guys. Can y'all tell? All right. I didn't take my Vyvanse, which should be a sponsor of the show.
That's right.
We need to contact them. But on that note, what is a mastermind? I'm seeing this word term thrown around loosely.
It's been done for years.
Right now. It's kind of like the moving industry's dispatcher, right? It's this unicorn that everybody calls a different role. I've heard it in sales. I've heard it in operations. I've heard it in a lot of different tones. But what is Movified's mastermind? What does that mean?
Yeah, I think like I want to look back a little bit about what a mastermind actually is, and it's like the way I interpret it is it's the meaning of people in similar industries sharing some of the best information with one another. When you talk about scaling is very difficult, but scaling on your own is very, very challenging, especially even if you're a franchisor, right? Like you only have the franchisees that you talk with. And while YouMoveMe has grown to great heights, we also run into the same issues of like, okay, how are we going to continue to scale and continue to grow? And there's only so much information that we can share within our circle. And one of my greatest regrets I tell people is that I never talked to competitors. It's so funny because I've known Mark for the better part of a decade, but we've only actually been friends for the last year and a half. Even Steve Reed, I met Steve Reed on a Louis Massaro event, and it was like, I want to say 4 years ago now. And we randomly got placed in the same breakout session, and he's like, we should connect. I couldn't actually remember Reed from that moment, but he actually, when I needed a mover in Memphis, and I got connected to him through Mark, he was like, hey man, we've met before. I'm like, oh man, I couldn't believe that I squandered the opportunity to meet with 2 people that I call close friends now, that I have the opportunity to talk to them earlier and share information back then.
I don't know if I really want to talk to you back then though either. So
that's fair.
Yeah, well, I'll even add on that, Prab, at that time we were talking, I was on fire, right? Scaling is effing hard at that time. So it was hard for me to even think about how I could do that. How could I get a coach all the time? I just need some help and get kind of a help getting focused and staying focused and answering the questions for a month. So just kind of wanted to put you in my side of that. Prab and I got a random shuffle at we got a random shuffle from it was one of those conferences, right? It's a virtual conference during COVID, and it shuffled us around, and there we were. It was just us at the table. Everybody else is getting full tables. But boy, Prab and I hit it off in that table. And then when we connected again, we were like, oh yeah, from that. I remember having the best part of that conference was us 2 talking in a virtual roundtable.
I'll never forget, like after Steven recharged my memory, he's like, we should connect after. And I was like, oh yeah. But the onus was on me to do it. And my entire career, I was always so scared about sharing trade secrets. But guys, this is moving. We move items from point A to point B, and we try not to break anything along the way. There's no real sacred cows in this, and there's no secrets that we can share with one another. But being naive and not wanting to share information was one of the worst things I could have done, because we also make the same mistakes too. And so when I started looking at it, it's like, if I'm failing in this area and we're all trying to scale our businesses, others have likely failed in those areas too. Why don't I just talk to them and see what feedback that they have for me, and maybe they can give me a little bit of information. So with Mark and I, we actually started meeting. We met one-on-one locally, and we met with a couple of other movers. And it started out with just four local movers, and we were enjoying meeting on like I would say every 2 months. And I was like, Mark, I think there's a lot of benefit that we're getting out of this. There's a lot of good connection. None of us are like keeping our cards so close to our chest. We're all pretty open, sharing information. Customers that you should avoid that don't pay, potential big moves that are coming up that might be a better fit for one another. How are we defending ourselves against the cheapest movers in the industry, and just securing our position as what we're best at. And it really went to show that there's a lot of value that's being shared among us. And I was like, and I was asking for Mark for introductions to people to Expanding Movies Long Distance program, which has been great. And that's how I got reconnected with Steven. And I'm like, Mark, I think we should expand this into an online mastermind. And now we've been running for 8 months, and it's been arguably the most engaging content that I've ever experienced. I would say I have the most extreme forms of ADHD when it comes to being on a Zoom call. I spend all day, every single day on Zoom. Our calls were 60 minutes to start, and we're like, we don't have enough time. And so we actually extended them to 90 minutes, where everyone has to contribute, everyone has to share, and we walk away with actually sharing information, help each other grow their business.
Before we ever started using a moving CRM, someone asked me, could you 10x what you're doing right now with the current systems and processes you have in place? And I said no. And so he was like, well, then you need to just pull the trigger on the software. And then I saw Smart Moving, and it was game over.
Austin joined thousands of moving owners on Smart Moving in 2021. Since then, he's more than doubled his business.
And I always compare Smart Moving to Apple products. It's just so simple, so easy to use, and that's really what's allowed my team to scale and now have 2 branches. And last year we scaled Central Coast Moving over 50% growth.
If you're ready to turn your moving company into a machine that drives profit, not chaos, try Smart Moving.
Being found on the second page of Google is literally like having a billboard in the middle of the desert. Your mama ain't gonna see it. No one's gonna see it. You're on the second page of Google, no one's gonna call, no one's gonna book. Here is the deal. If your business is not ranking on the top of Google, that means your competitors are going to be stealing your customers every single day. So at Rotate Digital, we don't play any guessing games. We use data-driven SEO strategies to make sure Google finds you first, so that these Google searches turn into your customers, not your competitors' customers. How do we do it? We do it through AI-driven keyword optimization, exclusive blog networks, backlinking strategies, and honestly, the secret stuff, the proprietary lead attribution software. So what do you get as a result? You get not only good marketing, but now you get clarity into what is bringing you more revenue. So if that's something you want to do, you want to make sure your leads find you and not your competition, go ahead and go to rotatedigital.com, schedule a call, and we'll help you take your business to the top of Google.
I'm a part of Mastermind Group 1, and it's really changed things for me. And I'm a busy guy, as y'all know, to be able to stop, listen to everybody's theory of the shared challenge. And then all of us combine for what's the best way we handle this. And I've gone back to be able to improve my business almost after every meeting.
It's also so nice to be able to text someone one-on-one or email someone one-on-one that you didn't have a previous relationship with, where like, hey, you mentioned that you were going through something similar like this. Can you give me some context as to how I can make sure that I avoid making the same mistake twice? So it's not just restricted to the individual meeting. It's basically connecting with you with people that you would have never been able to connect with on your own. And when we're looking at building teams, I look at the calendar year in terms of seasons, right? Like we have our planning season, which is Q4. We have our preparation season, which is spring. We have our execution season, which is summer. And then we have our post-summer review season. And then we go back into planning. So all of our topics are pre-selected a year in advance because we want to make sure that we're delivering the right content. We might make small adjustments if there's some market issues, but we want to have the right themes. Sorry, go ahead, Steven.
Can you just share that a little slower?
Yeah, for sure. So when let's say the 4 seasons of moving. So Q4 is really just planning for next year. Q1 is like, how are we going to execute our plans for the kickoff of the spring? Then we have the pre-summer and the mix of the summer in Q2. And then Q3 is kind of like finishing off summer, licking our wounds and doing a post-summer review. And then Q4 is like, okay, now we've done a post-summer review. Let's look at the entire year and let's make sure that we have our budget set, we have our forecast set, and we understand how we're going to knock out the next year. In my experience, like when you always try to plan in like January and February for the busy season, it's way too late. You want to have a pretty solidified plan in Q4 so you at least know what your forecasts are going to be, and you want people to challenge your forecast. You want people to challenge your budget. Tear it apart. Tell me where I'm missing.
100%. And that's where I want to just share and stop you, that little thing, right? We had to learn that we need as owners through scale to focus on those things. How much money do you think learning the hard way for all of us through knowing those seasons and how we need to operate differently as bosses? How much do you think we ran through not having this? And that's the experience you're getting with Prabh in this program, and myself and Mark on that side. That's what we're talking about. Some moving company owner learning that right now, and that could save them from what we know, millions of dollars, to be on those, treating your business like 4 different seasons. 4 different companies is how you manage your company, right? And we learned that through scaling. So I just wanted to share that's a huge impact right there from what you're doing.
I think it also like forces us to, you remember the seven highly effective, the seven highly effective people by Stephen Covey. One of the ones is sharpen the saw, right? And I find Mark and myself, instead of like texting big picture questions to each other, we'll actually ask like, hey, this is what I'm currently going through. How do I make sure this is even better? Right before we're like, we're just trying to survive, man. Our number one goal is survival and not to fall apart. And it felt like it was more of a counseling session of like, hey man, you got this, and like shaking each other alive. And now we're like, I think we need to make more money. How are we going to make more money? Where do you, like, look at my business and tell me where I could make, where I'm bleeding and where I could use some refinement. And I'll ask him the same question. It's like, I'm about to go to our You Move Me, one of our biannual conferences at You Move Me in Charlotte, North Carolina on Monday. And one of our breakout sessions is, when are you guys raising your prices? It's not a question of if you're raising your prices. If a carton of eggs is $10 US, which is like $27 Canadian in the US, it's time to raise our prices, because if the cost of all other inputs are going up, it's time. And then I know there's inevitable issues, like sometimes there's tariffs that you have to deal with in certain states and certain regulations, but there's opportunities to adjust your consumables fee or charge a transaction fee or a fuel surcharge. The point and the fact of the matter is, we don't have a business if we can't protect our margin. And the number one focus of protecting your margin is making sure that if you have to give everyone annual pay increases, how are you going to protect that margin? Well, the only way to do that is pay increases. Rate increases. And when you increase your rates, it changes your budget forecast, right? You can't operate your revenue model on the same AJS, average job size, every single year. It has to grow, or there's no longevity in your business. And so now we fast forward to us doing these masterminds, back to it. We extended from 60 minutes to 90 minutes. We've done 8 of these now. We have our 9th one coming up in a couple of weeks. And our attendance rate has always been over 90%. We have very strict rules and criteria about this. And I was always nervous about, like, hey, Mark, do you think that we should add this strict set of rules and guidelines? And he's like, no, I think we should. And I think it's the reason why it's successful. Everyone has to contribute. Everyone has to be camera on, video on. No one's allowed to dial in. You're not allowed to miss 2 consecutive meetings without legitimate excuses. And you're not allowed to interrupt other people without them having the ability to share, or you're booted out forever. And the reason why we have such strict guidelines on this is because we want this to be a program where people actually come to it and they look forward to these calls and they're like, wow, I really got something.
Hey everyone, Matty Mailers here, the guy who pioneered handwritten letters for the moving industry. Why? Because my competition at my moving company was using the same stock postcards as me, and my mailing company didn't care. So I created a better way. Here's some mind-blowing results in July. Miracle Movers Utah closed $93,000 using our handwritten letter strategy. With our campaigns, you can forget about the guessing games. You get a trackable phone number, daily photo proof, an incredible design team, and I'm also included. All letters stop at me for approval before they ever leave our facility. Right now, Movified listeners get 1,000 golden tickets stuffed in our genuine handwritten letters completely free. Plus, I'm going to throw in bulk realtor data for up to 5 counties. What are you waiting for? Moving Letters AI. Stop competing, start dominating.
If you're considering Snowball, just do it.
Snowball creates done-for-you referral programs for moving companies so you can turn happy customers into new revenue without lifting a finger. And the results speak for themselves.
In less than a year, we've collected over 2,000 referrals.
We generated over $200,000 of revenue that cost about $5,000 to do it.
I believe we had 4 or 5 the very first day.
The companies winning with Snowball are the ones that already care about their customers. We just help turn that into new business through human outreach and customer nurturing.
Snowball is part of the arsenal of tools that I recommend to my clients because it works.
Don't be nervous, guys. I'm a survivor. And so I got a couple of stern warnings and figured out the flow, but they teach you how to, like they taught me, hey, don't interrupt like you usually do. Raise the fan, we'll get to you. And they moderate a very, very productive meeting.
Well, and I think the big thing for me is that I've been to plenty of different, mastermind types of meetings, or, hey, we're going to have this type of Zoom call or Google Meets call. And, there could be 20 or 30 people online, 4 cameras are on, half of them are off. No one's really talking. Everybody's kind of sitting in the background. And then the next thing you know, the meeting's over, but it was controlled by only 3 or 4 people, and you were hoping for the whole group to contribute, or you're hoping that one person was going to give that answer to that question, or at least support that answer, but they were too busy because they already walked out of the room and they lost attention. So for us, this mastermind group, we really want to try and keep it to a maximum of 8 people in the group. Everybody has an opportunity, but we also don't want to have it where, I love you, Stephen. There's not a lot of Stephen Reeds in the room that are, also carrying the conversation for too long, right? Which is why we find it very important to have a moderator in each group, and that the topics are controlled, the questions are controlled, and we try and make sure that there's not a lot of rambling going on. Because like all of us business owners, time is money. We want to break off that 90 minutes. We want to make sure that there's massive value in that 90 minutes, that you're walking away with something. And one person's idea could be totally different than the other person's, or the way that question was asked, we've made it so that at least if I didn't like that answer, somebody in that group might give me a different answer that's going to work for my business, my company. And to follow that on, we're also trying to be very strategic in how we handpick the mastermind group. This isn't we're being flat out here. This isn't hey, listen, guys, this episode's about pushing this mastermind. Here's the link. Go sign up. We want you to be part of it. It's a little bit more strict than that, because we really want to make sure that we have the right people in the right groups, and that you're not also having issues with a competitor that might be in the next town next to you.
I think that's important to say. This isn't something that we're making a career out of. This is something that we're doing to help out. And when the price comes out, we're probably not going to put the price on this episode because it's dated. But when the price comes out, you'll see that us 3 guys are putting this together to help the industry and to change the industry. And it's a passionate project. So our level of bullcrap is not customer service. We are here to make an impact, not to make a client. Right. And we're really going to be big on, we want somebody that's wanting to better themselves, because we're in it for that. I'm in it to be in that group and get sharpened just like I am to sharpen. I think that should be said. If you're not looking at this fully, we don't want people not committed to growing and being better for themselves and their business.
One thing that I think is most impactful to me is like when people ask to join and I get to say, sorry, it's full. And I think the reason why I like saying that is because I want people to understand, to add on to Mark's point, is like, this is a very selective process. Mark and I have personally vetted every single person that's been accepted into the mastermind group. And everyone that stayed in group has been fantastic. Yeah, that's true. I mean, despite the multiple slaps on his hand, and I got to give Steven some flowers, the first 3, I would text Mark and be like, yo, man, we need to get this guy to stop talking so much. And after that, he did pull back. And
Mark,
I want to genuinely
Mark had the
recognize,
conversation. Yeah.
I want to genuinely recognize that, but it's not to say that we don't want to hear Steven's opinion. It's just one of our members, if we always went through the roundtable, he was always presenting last and he'd have the least amount of time. So Mark had the great idea of having him present first the following time, just to make sure everyone gets an equal opportunity to contribute. The best part about it is Mastermind 1 was started out as an idea. And then I was like pulling the numbers with Mark one day. I'm like, you know that the combined revenue of Mastermind 1 is over $150 million in revenue? That's monstrous.
That's a powerful group.
And Mastermind 2 is going to bolt on, I think, ballpark is another $50 million right there. These are serious operators that are running serious businesses. And to touch on it, like, I understand that you move me as a franchisor. We're the only franchisor that's going to be in the group. Everyone else is an independent operator. And to Mark's point, we don't want every move. We don't want Stephen Reed's number one competitor in Memphis in there, because that's not what it's for. It's to serve Stephen and his community and the people that work for him. It's not to serve every mover in Memphis. And that's why there's a vetting process. We encourage people to apply, but at the same time, don't get discouraged if it's a rejection, because maybe it'll open the doors later. We're not just doing this to help scale your business. We're also doing this to make you better leaders. I would say my public speaking ability went from like a 6 out of 10 on average to a 10 out of 10 from this mastermind. Because before, my scope of conversations were always limited to the franchisors or franchisees that I speak to every single year, all of the time. When I had to speak to other people that I'm not used to having a conversation with, to like present who I am and get them to understand, although I don't run my own business, so to speak, because I oversee You Move Me and our CRM, I still needed to earn their respect. And when I earned their respect, I started to understand there's a lot of magic in with what we can do. And people genuinely want to hear from you if you provide engaging content. One cool fact about the mastermind, and I'll pass to you next, Mark, is in Mastermind 1, we have a guy that has a business in Washington, D.C. named Goran. And Goran actually lives in Belgrade, Serbia. And I was in Vienna, Austria, visiting, checking out Austria. And he drove his family from Belgrade through Hungary to meet me in person. And all because we had met during the mastermind. I would have never crossed paths in a million years if it wasn't from the mastermind group. And how did
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Goran.
Shout out to Goran, yeah.
And I got to do a little love where I used to live. He's in Marietta, Georgia as well. Yeah, he's got a market there as well.
And it just goes to show, like, this was a referral from another referral. And the fact that it was someone that was willing to join our referral, our long distance network in You Move Me, but also cross international borders just to come meet me, extend his trip in Vienna. That just goes to show you that there's engagement here beyond just like a community of people meeting once a month. We want everyone to become friends in this mastermind group. We want everyone to have each other's numbers, email independently. This isn't restricted for the 90 minutes that we get together every month. This is an extension of your network. You're going to have a tribe of mentors that work with you all of the time that are there to support your business. And what better mentors to have than other people that are going through the same thing you are and trying to scale their businesses? Mark, what were you going to say?
I just want to kind of elaborate on this from what we were talking about earlier. Stephen talked about it, scaling. There is, parts in your business of frustration and overcoming a lot of hardship and trying to make things work when you're trying to get to the $1 million mark in your business. Right? To get to, hey, I've done $1 million in sales. We're actually getting, finally a profit every single year. This is fantastic. And I'm looking to grow. There's room for you in lots of groups. This mastermind is really for those that are now moving on to the next step. And just like Prabh said, it's how do we make more money? How can we really diversify? How can I take my 1 million plus operation and really expand more? Because those that are within our group and in those masterminds, we are doing way more than that. Our numbers are much higher.
I have people, that group has people that I've learned about. I thought my goals were maybe franchising. Being in that group with people who have done franchising, I've rethought my future plans. Mark has learned a lot by guys in that group that have bought a second location as he bought a second location. Sorry to cut off, Mark, but I wanted to share that.
Well, exactly.
Immense value. Yeah.
I just want to try and get it out to everybody as well, too, as how we're doing the vetting process. We respect those that are trying to grow their business, but the mastermind groups that we are looking to put together are for those that are doing well over $1 million in business. like hands out.
$1 million.
$1 million.
And it's not even just to gatekeep information, but it's like once you get to like getting to 300 grand is a hard marker, and getting to 700,000 is a very hard marker. Breaking $1 million and doing it multiple years in a row, that's when it gets challenging, because like then you've actually scaled to a pretty decent business and you're being able to start tearing away some profit. And then it's like, how do I want to expand? Because then you can expand very,
How do
very
I want to
quickly.
spend that profit? Right? How should
Exactly.
I got some fun questions in between, like as we just before I kind of kick into this. It's time for Dolly Dash.
Ooh, bum bum bum, Dolly Dash.
Roll the tape.
Mark Hirschi with Movified. It's the Dolly Dash moment. It's a Titan edition. I got Eugene here with the Mover Tech CRM. Where are you guys based out of?
So we're in Florida.
Florida. Yeah. All right. Perfect. And now there's so many CRM companies that are out there. They go to these events. What's like the most common question that movers are coming up to your booth that you just wish would just ask you right off the bat?
The most common question. I mean, every mover has specific needs on what they want, and really throughout the years, it's been 7 years that we've been building the software, and throughout the years of people asking us the question, and we don't have the solution built in, we've slowly built the solution in. But a lot of it is recently with the laws a couple of years ago, the bills of ladings. So that is, people want that stored online. If we can store pictures, because most CRMs do not offer that because of cloud storage space. How many ways we can charge a customer, as in cubic foot, weight, flat rate, things like that. But really, it's a plethora of questions, and we've learned from that as a company because we've added features as customers ask us those questions.
I like it. Coming to this event, especially the Titan Retreat, it's day 2. What has been one of the biggest takeaways that you want to implement in yourself?
You know, you really can never stop learning. If you think you know everything, you're probably the dumbest guy in the room, like in my opinion. So every time I come to any event, I actually go to quite a bit of these, not mover specific, but tech specific. But you're always learning something from every speaker on stage if you keep your ears open. If you're not like glued to Instagram on your phone, like you'll hear a lot of stuff that you already know, depending on how far along in your journey you are. But something will perk your ears up, and you'll look up at the screen, you'll be like, wow, I never really thought of that before. Something that I took away today from this event is really just implementing a better systems and procedures, SOPs, and getting more tight on that. You know, we have one obviously, but really just honing it in to the point of it being almost like AI, like it's a written book, it's there, you follow step A, B, C, and you're at success. And I think that's something we have to tighten down on, and we're going to as soon as I get back.
Okay. Looking forward to 2026, what is one thing that your CRM is going to be implementing for the next year?
So honestly, again, we've been building this for 7 years. We truly have everything except AI, and I think AI is slightly too early. We are going to start building out AI basic features. I think AI is a good 3 years away from being able to actually do damage in your business and replace a lot of expenses, whether it's somebody managing your marketing campaigns or and it's not to take jobs away or anything like that, but it's more to streamline processes and still have employees, but take the unwanted work away. You know what I mean? The stuff that nobody really wants to do, like a secretary or something like that. That person could be doing better somewhere else and making more money and amplifying their careers and their knowledge somewhere else and just doing better for themselves.
Right. Last question. Coming to these events, setting up the booths, loading up your luggage, what's typically one thing that you always are like, shit, you totally forgetting your luggage?
I've won enough to I almost don't forget anything. The backdrop we couldn't find, so we thought we had it, we couldn't find. We had to get it overnighted in. Cost us a pretty penny. But yeah, business cards you always want to bring. You want to triple check everything before you leave, before you pack the car. As much advertising and marketing material, and really a lot of it is just about networking here and talking to people, going up and just shaking somebody's hand and saying hi, like, what do you do? And having a conversation, because you never know where you're going to meet your next business partner, your wife, your whoever, in life.
Love it. Eugene, been a pleasure.
Awesome, man. Great talking.
Dolly Dash moment, let's go. Hey, it's Mark with Movified, and I'm here to talk about Canada Home Listings. They are the only direct mailer service built specifically for household good movers in Canada. That's right, my hometown. They help moving companies reach homeowners the moment they list their home with proven mail campaigns that drive results. And for the Movified listeners, they're offering exclusive promotions you won't find anywhere else. So go check them out today. Go online, go do your thing, and go find them. Canada Home Listings right now. Go. And then keep watching the show.
Welcome back. That was a great Dolly Dash moment.
That was a fun one.
That was a fun
I like
one.
that
That was
one.
great. You know, and Dolly Dash is always brought to you by right now Movified Nation. So make sure you fill out start.movifiednation.com. Fill out that quick form. You have time. Fill it out because we are giving away the amazing and fancy
Van
Winkle bottle that's going to be given away at the beginning of December. So we want to get it to you before Christmas so you can have a sip with yourself as you're dealing with your kids opening up presents. You can sip that Van Winkle and put yourself to ease.
And one of the reasons I'll share to go to start.movifiednation.com is to join so we can give you information about the mastermind. So we can
Yes.
get to know you on a front level, what your goals are. And that helps us be the matchmakers we can be to put these groups together to know what everybody's aspiring to be. So take that first step. We're launching that start of the year. We're starting some groups now. So start.movifiednation.com. We want to hear from you and want to know what your goals are.
Yeah. So what I was kind of touching on before, or I kind of want to flip the subject, is me and Prabh earlier were talking about this, and I know a lot of us go through situations where we're busy, right? We're busy as business owners. You know, sometimes we're getting dragged away, and we've talked about this a lot of times in the show. You don't get enough one-to-ones. Maybe you're not having enough meetings with your employees, especially those that are in higher positions within your company. You have your management meetings, you have your teams meetings, but not enough one-to-ones. And then you find out, ooh, that person's maybe applying somewhere. You know, they're maybe searching for a different position. You don't know if there's something going on with the culture within your company. You don't know if they're overworked. You don't know what's really going on, but the red flags start kind of trickling, you know, and I kind of want to run over to you, Stephen. What do you do when you have someone in that position? Let's say a management position. You start kind of finding out, I think this person might be searching for another job. What kind of meeting are you holding? What are you checking in on? Is it going to be more on, you know, what they're getting paid as opposed to, you know, just what their goal is or the position is too hard for them? How are you handling this?
So it's happened, right? So, you know, just the same way that we recruit on resources like Indeed, right? People put their resumes out there on Indeed. And so I've had it happen a couple of times to me before. Without a thought, I'm getting in my car, I'm driving to that person, and I'm saying, hey, I'm not mad. I'm in it for you. I want what's best for your family, right? But how would you feel if you saw a job ad for your job at my company right now, for your job? And I say, let's talk this through, and I will share both those people are at this company, and we got on a better level after that didn't require more money. It was finding out something that maybe he didn't want to say. And so attacking that, I put him in a space where it's like, well, we need to hear it. What's going on? How would you feel if I was this way? Right. And it's not an attack, but it's more putting him on the understanding of, yeah, that is fucked up. You know, if I found my job description, I'd have some questions for you too. I used the F-bomb on the episode. You know, let's get a beep out.
I know.
Can I get a beep out on the
no
edit?
beeps, man. I mark this down on the calendar when I get one.
You got me on a passionate thing, but it does hurt as an owner. But I always want to respond to, like, anytime I get a chance to talk to other moving company owners or have a platform, the way that I've kept sane in this business and scaling is really looking at it like it's a boat ride, right? I know where I'm going. I know where this boat ride ends. And when someone wants to get off the boat, that doesn't make them a bad person. That their goals just aren't the same destination I have. and I'll gladly have a relationship with that person, stay vested in them, and let them get off the boat. And in my journey in 17 years, a lot of people went outside that boat, found resources, got better, learned things, and knew where I was going, knew where my destination is, and got back on the boat more equipped and more focused with goals. So it used to be so emotional when I'd lose that key person, or that key person would have different goals. But to keep my sanity, I've kind of just followed this boat ride logic, and it's really worked well for me that next day being fine with whatever I'm being told by that leader. Because it's at the end of the day, we're in our seats because we have these ambitious goals and we want to drive that boat, and the other people are in those chairs because they don't. And so it doesn't hurt me for them to have different goals anymore, but I understand the emotional attachment prior.
I think the first few was always the hardest, right?
Oh,
I
gosh, yeah.
I always think back to this book I read. It's called Eat That Frog. And it's like just
What's it
deal with
called?
the hardest. Eat That Frog.
Eat That Frog. I haven't read that one.
It's about just doing the hardest, ugliest thing in front of you first.
I didn't know if that was a Canadian thing.
Yeah. There's one down there. I think it's called Eat That Catfish.
Eat that crawfish. Yeah, there you go.
Eat that
That's
crawfish.
right. Eat that craw. But it's about doing like the biggest, ugliest thing in front of you first. And having those hard conversations is one of those big, ugly things that you got to do. And like naturally with anything in life, you got to get your reps, right? The more you have hard conversations, the easier it is to have hard conversations. But the more you avoid having hard conversations, the harder it's always going to be.
We recently hired Ready Rolls to help us with hiring some offshore help, some VAs, and they've done an amazing job. They found the perfect candidate for our company. Not only that, they helped answer the questions that we had about the process. Initially, hiring a VA can be a bit intimidating, but they answered all the questions. It's been an amazing experience. Our VA has been a huge part of our success thus far. We're actually in the process of hiring a few more right now. Definitely see them as being a key part of our growth and reaching our goals in 2025.
And the game changer for our company, I'm confident to be a game changer for you.
Visit ReadyRolls.com. There is now a better way to scale.
But yeah, no doubt. Elaine tells me she found that on Indeed. I don't care what I'm doing. Nolan with me, Aniston with me. My ass is getting in that big league Bronco and I'm driving around town. And I'm going to attack that to get on the same page before it lingers to others in the organization.
Well, and I appreciate that. One of the last final questions, because I know Prabh has limited time, and I kind of want to hit this.
Thank you. By the way, he's in the airport right now, guys. So we pinned him on this.
So one of the big issues that I was talking with in a group message was there is a moving company owner, and he knows there was a couple guys on his crew that were not happy. They were planning on leaving, and then he starts finding out, hey, these guys are going to start their own moving company.
Yeah.
How do you react to that? Like, what do you, same situation, you're sitting down, is this just like a clean cut? I mean, you're losing half your staff, like 5 guys are ready to walk out. This is what's going on, and let's say you only have 10 guys working for you. And now you find out these guys are going to try and start their own moving company. What do you do?
I mean, from my perspective, I wish them well because it's not easy. And I'd rather.
It's how we started the episode, right?
I'd rather them go out, understand how difficult it is to have regular jobs. And then for those that want to come back, keep the opportunity open. But I can't really slight someone for being ambitious. And I think I also have to take a look inside and see where I failed as a leader to have 50% of my crew being ready to leave at a moment's notice and me not being aware of it. I think that's a failure of my own leadership.
Hey, same thing. I'm getting in a room. First of all, I'm having a respectful conversation with that guy. I'm going to wish him the best. And then I'm going to also tell him I'm pretty good at my job and I'm going to bury you at it. And that's how I'm going to change the situation with respect, right? And then I'm going to have a closed door meeting with everybody else. And there might be tears. There might be passion. There might be them understanding I cared about them more than they realized. And that's how I would handle that. Is I would try to keep my core, and not be sold for something that's the unknown. But I would say goodbye to the unknown.
I think it's tough. I usually always have my heart on my sleeve, and as a business owner, like Prabh was saying, it's as a leader, you're questioning yourself, what is going on in my company for your main driver, some of your main staff, or somebody that's picking up and going, hey, I'm out of here. Especially when they think they can go out and then do it on their own. And there's always that, your emotion levels, right? The hey,
Yeah.
you know,
I
what
thought
the
we were
hell's
doing
going
this
on here? I
together.
thought we were doing this together. I thought everything was good. You know, and then you find out, hey, this guy's now going to start his own, and it's very much like Steven said, hey, I'm going to crush you, but like, good luck. You know, I remember telling one guy, hey, listen, when do you want me to give you a call? And he goes, what do you mean? I says, well, in about 4 or 5 months, I might as well call you and let me know what you're selling your truck for, because I'm going to be probably buying it right back off you once you realize how much everything costs and how to, and getting out there. And I had a guy that worked for me who went out and did his own and then phoned me about 8 months later saying, my car's at the impound, my truck, I don't have any business. My money is done. It's dwindled.
I want to get back on the
I
boat.
apologize for trying to steal some of your clients, like the whole 9 yards. And it's like, you know, hopefully you learned your lesson, right? Because it's a hard one. It's a hard pill to swallow as a business owner, right? So,
But if you do, now I'm not judging telling anybody to forgive, right? But if you do find a space where that guy really learned a life lesson, there's no better paddler on where you're going in the boat, because he knows and respects where you're at. And so I just share, if you can make that an opportunity, I'm not saying try if the person's not willing, right? But there is an opportunity of space in that you can swallow some pride and say, now you know what the hell I'm looking for and need. And so now I need you to get in this position. Let's do this together. Easier said than done without the emotion, right? But you'll hear a theme with me, though, is as soon as I hear about these things, I'm shutting the door and having a meeting and confronting it. And that's what's key, is not letting those things linger.
Eat that
right?
frog, baby.
That's,
eat that frog
eat the
for sure.
frog.
Yeah.
Yeah, come back around.
It's
or
still,
the catfish.
it's still going to be there tomorrow. You don't let it linger. Hit it head on. Before we go, guys, for everybody that is listening, I'm going to tell you, at the end of this month, okay, so we'll have a launch and everything else out there. I don't want to put a rush on it. At the end of this month of November, make sure you check out movifiednation.com. On movifiednation.com, in the Masterminds page, there will be a form for you to fill out that has some details if you'd like to join our mastermind group launching in the new year. We're looking to finalize those that are going to be in the mastermind groups 3 and 4 for the new year as well too, and hopefully we'll have a second half going out in by March of next year as well too. So if you are interested in listening to this and you're like, I want to be part of this mastermind group, I want to be part more of the Movified Nation community, more information is be readily available to you on movifiednation.com.
We are the nation.
If you want to get your start on it, go to start.movifiednation.com. That's start.movifiednation.com. Fill out that form like Steven talked about. It gets you entered in to win that bottle. It gets you the SOPs right off the bat, 3 fantastic SOPs to apply in your business. It gets you part of the newsletter as well too. It keeps you in the loop of everything that's going on Movified, and also any kind of upcoming events that are happening in the industry. Yes, for free.
For free. I just want to share that. It's for free. It's for us to build what we're trying to do in a passion to learn and help others with scale. Prabh, I saw a lady in the back. Do you mind having her on the show? Bringing her in?
Absolutely. There's been a few that have walked past. I think recording your podcast at a centralized desk location isn't the best spot, but we do with what we got.
You made it
do
easy.
with what we got to work. Well, you made it very easy, and you kept yourself looking pretty. So I
Hey, I got one more thing.
Yes.
We're making this nation. We realize, because we 3 were silent learners for many years.
Yes.
Right. This is one of the purposes we're building the Movified Nation, because we call them lurkers. We know we're lurkers. I was a lurker, learning in the background. But like, guys, get out there, join the Movified Nation. It's going to change your life when we put these together and you have the groups of like-minded individuals. Now, more importantly, you're missing out on shit every week to improve your business, like Mark's talking about with the guys that challenged their employer. So subscribe. Mark told me something crazy, like 80% of our listeners aren't subscribed to the channels. And
I know.
Guys, you're missing out on stuff that impacts your business off the bat. You're not part of our mastermind group. You're failing off the get-go if you're not improving your business. So
That's right. So
make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Hit the subscribe button, like it, share it, and comment. We'd love to see your comments. We always appreciate it. And if you can, hit us with that 5-star. You know, you do it for your businesses and you want those Google reviews. We'd love that 5-star spot on Spotify
Play
or
tag with
Apple.
us.
Yeah, please do. Please do. It opens up.
That's our tag. That's what we want is those reviews. We want those likes with the subscription so we can stay with you.
Yes, please. All right, guys.
In your scroll.
Always been a
Strength in
pleasure.
numbers, guys.
Strength in
Thank you.
numbers. Stay movified.
See you later.
Until next time. See you later.